Good evening and welcome back. Just sat here. I was just contemplating about all the things that's happened, in the last 8 years, and before that as well, but mainly 8 years. All the big things, major transition things. One of them, spiritual awakening. Yes, that was major. That turned my life upside down, back to front, sideways. Yeah, that changed my life forever. Changed who I am forever. Made me see who I truly am. Made me find who I truly am. Yeah, I was just sat here, and I've got a friend who's a multi-dimensional channel artist, and she brings in through aspects of your higher self and the energy and the multi-dimensional fractals of yourself for that energy that you need, and I was just sat here looking at the recent one that she channeled for me, and it was my mum. So I don't know if you can get up close without moving the phone. So the dragon, she channeled that for me quite a while back now. Before that, the shaman, which was one of my multi-dimensional parts of myself. That's behind this one. Don't want to move it, but yeah, that was the very first one that she channeled for me when I first met the lady. She's now a good friend of mine. I knew she would be her because my intuition was on point back then. I just didn't realise it back then because I'd needed to do some more work, on myself. Yeah, I needed to have that death, just split the deck. Yeah. Didn't realise how intuitive and how connected to source I was back then. So it was right at the beginning of my awakening. So you may be talking about seven odd years that I met my friend, who's my she's become a very good friend of mine, and she's a beautiful channel in her own unique gifts, because you find your unique gifts on this path. But first, you have to have a death. Now I don't mean you have to have a death to recover dormant aspects. Can't make this up. So just split the deck. Yeah, and I was just sat here, and I was just like dragging, and I was just staring at my mum's picture, because these pictures, you meditate on them and they come to life. Now that might sound a bit far out there. Well, no, not when you've had a death and you have recovered. So a death not in the physical, but of your old identity, your old self. I love these cards. These was also a gift of it. And yeah, a death and a rebirth, that's your spiritual awakening. So I was just sat here, and I was just like, is he really coming through? And they obviously is. So yeah, that death and that rebirth, then you uncover dormant aspects of yourself. So my dormant aspects was, I'm going to have to get you the first thing that came up. Won't be a minute. So it's the hand here. Just don't want everything to fall. There we go. Yeah, this was the very first one, many years ago, when my intuition was calling me back to a place I'd been before, on the earthly realm, not in the spiritual. No, it was all just starting to wake up for me at that point, and I just woke up and I wanted to sage everything and Palo Santo, and I was doing drumming, shamanic drumming. I was getting into all of that. All that aspects was coming back to me, and the knowing of the hollow bone, things that I'd not dream catchers, medicine wheels also. Yeah, all the shaman, shaman, as you may call it, but I call it shaman, all that side, those dormant aspects, was returning to me. So that this was probably one of the very first earlier ones, right at the beginning. And I just met, so her name is Chrissy, and she's changed her name now because she's reinvented herself and she feels like a new identity is needed after many years of, you know, her death and her rebirth, and her finding dormant aspects of herself. So gifts returning, multidimensional gifts, multidimensional fractals, parts of yourself returning. Her name is Sacred Energy Art. So she's reinvented herself, you know, she's got a whole new identity, and so have I. And I've found things that, you know, 8 years ago, waking up, I could never fathom that I'd found. These dormant aspects go very deep. So this is just one dormant aspect that returned to me. And that's my shaman side. So I shall put that there because I don't want my whole lot to move in. But yeah, that's your death and your rebirth. Yeah, when you start spiritually awake, you're having a death and a rebirth. You're finding dormant aspects of yourself that you didn't have a clue was inside of yourself. And I'm finding I had to talk today because, yeah, a bit run down, but pushing through it, you know. So I just sat here and I was like, there's a reading coming through. It's the dragons. And another dormant aspect returned to me. So me and my light worker friend Chrissy, we just recently did a wellbeing day at the near our area, and I didn't have any dragon cards, so I've been drawn to a dragon. Dragon has been coming through for quite a while for me, but I'd never ever bought any dragon cards. So when my dormant aspect started to return to me, knowing of my past lives and the fractals, you know, that I hold inside myself, I started to be drawn to Lemuria. So I'd get some Lemurian cards guided by my guides, or the Ascension when I knew it was all in the Ascension. So I'd get Ascension cards. So you're drawn to things that resonate with your soul when it's waking up. Won't be a moment. Interruption there. So you get drawn to things when your intuition comes more online and your connection to source comes more online. You get drawn to things that are to do with these dormant aspects of ourselves that are locked away inside ourselves, our gifts, our past lives, our multidimensional fractals of ourselves. Because we don't just exist here, no, we exist in many dimensions simultaneously, you know. So yeah, I'm learning that more and more, you know. Yeah, dimensions, all of that. So the quantum part of this journey, yeah. I've had an initiation, they're saying. That was the last card that came up. Yeah, each initiation you go through and portal, yeah, this remembrance starts to return to you, you know. And you know that you're not just one, you're many, and you exist in many times, places, dimensions. You know that, you know, it gets very quantum. So yeah, and then when I was at the wellbeing, I kept having thoughts going through my head, and we was just packing up after the wellbeing weekend, which had been lovely, and I got to help others, parts of their healing, you know, and the right people turned up for us, you know. It was all predestined, aligned. Yeah, I started to have thoughts, and I kept getting dragon coming through. And I thought, why are you saying dragon? You know? And then it came through again, these thoughts, and I thought, I know why, because Chrissy was selling these cards on her stall. I knew I had to have a pack of her, you know, because that's my intuition. It's so on point now. And you know, when you get thoughts, they're saying don't dismiss these thoughts, because these thoughts are your intuition. They are telling you something. They're there for a reason, otherwise they wouldn't be. So listen to them. Use your intuition. Use your dragon. Use your, you know, your connection source. Don't dismiss it. And I've learned, I've really opened up my intuition and my connection source. And I do believe this picture that my beautiful friend channeled for me was aligned, you know. Came in at the right time, because I wasn't using my intuition as strongly as I could have done. I wasn't listening to these thoughts as strongly as I could have been, because I was listening to others' thoughts. So external forces coming in at me, society, all of that. Yeah, it was a gift, you know. Bottom of the card. Yeah, she gave me that picture as a gift, and also this one as a gift, and also these dragon cards also as a gift. You know, I've never received so many gifts. I've always been the giver, always. But you know, when I had my death and my rebirth, I started to understand that connection. You know, it's friendship or relationships. It's about reciprocity. So it's not always about give, you know. No, you can receive. So I'm in that receiving mode now. Since I've woken up to my dormant aspects and my worth after that death and the rebirth. Yeah, I'm receiving more and more gifts in this timeline, and I love it, and I'm not used to it. But I am actually holding my hands out, and I am receiving in grace. To saying, yeah, I'm learning how to receive after being many years of give. So yeah, it feels beautiful at this point of my journey. Magic. After 8 long years of healing. So, any more messages? Yeah, didn't really know what this message was going to be about. Companions, look. Yeah, this is what I'm on about. So, I'm at this point of my journey after my death and my rebirth. My dormant aspects are returning to me over many years, over many initiations. You know, you keep going through initiations on this path and test and lessons. So if you don't learn a lesson, then it'll come back around, it'll loop back around until you do and heal, you know. So I've done that. I've started to listen to my thoughts, understand that these thoughts are there for a reason. They're my intuition, they're my connection to source. I'm also in the receiving part of my journey. So that's friendship, reciprocity. Yeah, I'm in the receiving. I love it. Companions, soul tribe. Not on my own anymore. On this long journey of ours, our death and our rebirth, we're on our own in that death. Not the physical, don't want to scare anybody. No, you don't physically die. But what you do is the old identity dies. Because that can't come with you, you know. Because the old identity was a lie. It was an illusion. It was to hold us into suppression, patriarchy, hierarchy. That is why the old identity, the ego, has to be stripped back and balanced. The ego comes with you. The ego is the human. That's why I'm on. Because I was just sat here and I was speaking to another companion of mine, another light worker friend that I've met through being online. So it's opened up a whole new world for me, you know, my death and my rebirth. and these dormant aspects returning, it's opened up a whole new world of meeting like-minded people, you know, on the same wavelength. Dragons, like myself, you know, have this energy inside them. Yeah, I was just sat here and I was thinking about the soul tribe that a lot of us are finding now, you know, after many, many years of being on our own, isolated in that death and the rebirth, and the initiations one after the other, you know, because, yeah, and the learning how to use your intuition and understand your thoughts are there for a reason and not to dismiss them. Yeah, and at this point, many of us are now finding our companions, our true soul tribe. You know, after many years of being on our own, on this very painful, confusing, healing journey. Yeah, so yeah, companions. I'm learning to let my companions in also, you know, because my journey, I can't speak for others, it's a twin flame journey, and ultimately that's just a label that's put on it, twin flame, but it's painful journey, you know. It's a hard journey, and yeah, you end up with this. Yeah, you end up with this on this journey. You feel like you're scarred, but when you start realising that these scars are already inside of you, you know, the twin's not doing that to you, you're not doing that to your twin. These scars go back to the ancestral bloodline, because that's also another aspect that I've had to heal, you know, but not just for myself, no, for my ancestral bloodline. Yeah, at first you think you're being scarred by your twin flame. You do, because, you know, it's painful, confusing, frustrating journey. Why you feel so connected to this other one, you know. But you can't be with him in the physical yet, because there's that death and the rebirth. You've got to return your gifts. You've got to understand that you've got gifts inside of you. You've got to go through the initiations to understand that. Yeah, you've got to come into mental clarity, you know, about this journey and about what it's really about. And for me, it's my spiritual awakening. It's as simple as that. And I've got, you know, at first you complicate it because you're trying to understand this journey. So your ego mind, what you're going to that death and that rebirth to balance out. Yeah, you know, that's where you find all these scars in that death and the rebirth, the dark night of the soul. Not just yours, no, it's your family's also. So you've got to heal these scars, you know, not just smooth over them. No. This death and the rebirth, this dark night of the soul, this Kundalini rising, whatever your unique soul path is, but that was all mine. It's to heal these scars once and for all. Beautiful cards, these. Yeah, and to find the wisdom. So when you start finding more wisdom inside yourself, because it's all about looking inside. At first, this part of the journey, when you're just going into your death and your rebirth, and you're trying to understand what the bloody hell's going on, you know, because you're just like, what's happening? Like, yeah, that's as best as I can explain it. You just, you know, you're hearing these thoughts right at the beginning, and that intuition, but you're not listening. It's not loud enough at that point, because you're collecting this, you know, you're finding your wisdom. So your wisdom, things about your dormant aspects, you know, of yourself. So these two, they go together. And then you found, you know, you're like, oh, I've been looking for wisdom, but I am the wisdom. So the wisdom is inside of you all along. So it's inside. You need to look. You need to go inside. And you found this wisdom. And you found that you are the wisdom. You know, this journey, yeah, this soul journey of ours, you do gather wisdom. But you already had it inside you there. You just don't know that. You don't understand that at the beginning stages. You just think you're going searching for all this wisdom to try and understand this path. And you are, but it's inside you already, you know. My guides, yeah, you cling on to hope. In that death and that rebirth, you cling on to hope, you know, that one day you're going to merge out into the bliss. Because in that death and the rebirth, the dark night of the soul, the kundalini rising, all the initiations, all the confusion, painful moments on this path, you don't feel bliss. You know, you're like, I just want to feel normal again. I just want to feel myself again. I don't want to hear all these thoughts that are going on in my head. I don't want to feel as confused, as frustrated as I do. Well, in that death and the rebirth, you're going to feel all of that, and then some more, you know, because that death and the rebirth, you're going in there to heal these scars, not cover them up. You know, so you've got to uncover them, and then you've got to heal them. And then, you know, in that death and the rebirth, that's all I had. I had hope, and that was one word that I did actually strongly use. When you've got hope, you've got everything. The minute you give up hope, not good. But hope was the one word I clung on to, and peace. Yeah, peace was the very first word. But hope in this dark night of the soul. Yeah. And I didn't give up hope, you know. I knew one day, didn't know how long, but I knew one day I'd get through these scars and I'd heal these scars. Didn't know I was healing my ancestors at that point, but I do now. And I knew I'd found bliss. And I also knew, pick it up, I'd find my soul tribe, my companions on this journey. Knew that. And Chrissy was one of them at the very, very beginning, who lives in my hometown. Now, I found companions that live outside of my hometown online, but the very first one was Chrissy, and I knew that we had that soul connection there in many past lifetimes. She's also said it. So I knew, you know, this journey, it was going to take us to bliss one day. Just had to heal them scars. Found my companions, and it's not so lonely now, you know. You feel I won't say normal, because you'll never feel normal again, because once you see beyond what you used to see, and you've returned these aspects back to yourself, so the magic inside of yourself, no, normal, no, but you feel less alone, you know, and more understood. And you know that in times where on this journey, if there's more initiations, and there will be, you know, I believe this journey never ends. So the never-ending story, yeah, I've had that many times coming through to me on this journey. I believe your soul evolution never ends, and it's initiations after initiation after initiation. I believe that. I can't speak for others, but I believe that our evolution is, yeah, it's a never-ending story. Any more, please? But yeah, Chrissy was one of the very first companions that I had, and knowing I was going to meet someone that was going to have big impact on my life, you know, and vice versa. Was soul tribe. Could feel that. Just you know, it's that instant recollection, you know. But with me, it came in thoughts that I had to go somewhere and there was going to be somebody there that I was going to meet. That's how it came in for me. But then the minute I met her in person, I was like, aha, this is why I'm here. So it started to click into place, you know, because my thoughts, I wasn't, like I said, way back then, I wasn't listening to my thoughts as intuition. I just thought there was intruding, you know, and I was trying to figure it out. So I was still learning how to use my intuition. Now, everything I've said and the timelines that I've seen was coming has unfolded exactly that way. So now I do not ignore my thoughts, and I do not ignore my intuition, because they are there for a reason. They would not be coming up if there was not. Ooh, we've got King Arthur. I saw this card earlier. And we've got Merlin at the bottom. I've worked with Merlin and his Violet Flame. Very, very powerful. Yeah, Merlin's come through a lot for me. I believe he's one of the ascended masters that walk with me now. And yeah, I've got my stone here. So Merlinite. This is just put that down there. That's Merlinite crystal. So if you follow me, you know I work with crystals. Crystals are my I say they're my portals to more aspects of myself, you know. There's many crystals that has activated dormant aspects of myself to return. Merlin, also one of them. I've been into the Akashic records with Merlin there, and I've looked into my Akashic records with this crystal. So yeah, I'm going to read a little bit about Merlin, because it's come up for a reason, and also King Arthur. So let's have a look at Merlin. Merlin, the great master magician. Yeah. So when Merlin was coming through for me, so speaking about thoughts and intuition, I would see shop signs. You might be seeing this yourself, and thoughts coming through and wondering where they're coming from. So this is why I'm talking about it. I would see shop signs. I was going for a healing one day with my master, Reiki teacher, and Merlin on a big shop sign popped up, and then I would be on my bike one day coming back from my sister-in-law's, and my direction would be took to a street sign and it said Merlin. So Merlin was popping up, you know. So these thoughts is what they're saying is, so your angels, your guides, your ascended masters, your ancestors, all of that, that they're coming through, you know. They'll come through in your thoughts, they'll come through on shop boards, numbers, signs, street signs, you know. So these thoughts that you're having, they're all guiding us on our path. And Merlin, yeah, he came through many years ago, and yeah, I had a bit of a time believing that, you know. I thought, Merlin, the magician, is coming through to me, little old me. What's he want with me? You know, but then my thoughts and my intuition was saying, no, it's you know, it's all true. So yeah, and crystals will find you also. I've been drawn to many crystals that have aligned me on my path, and like the ascended masters coming through, and and the angels, you know. So everything, it's aligning us to our destined path. So I'll just read a little bit about Merlin. So Merlin, the great master magician, wishes to remind you that the blood of your ancestors flows in your veins. Yeah, my ancestors are very, very loud these days, and I love it. So the blood unites you. There was a time when magic was an important element in our lives. I know why now. It's coming through because I've been speaking about magic today, and I believe to my soul tribe, I've been speaking this out loud today, that we're in the magic part of our journey. So we're out of that death and the rebirth, the dark, you know, cave that we get sent into. We've found our wisdom. We know that our thoughts are our intuition. They're there for a reason. We've had many, many initiations. We're sure that there'll be many, many more. They've retained dormant aspects of ourselves, so our multidimensional fractals of ourselves back. We're sure there'll be more. Gifts, yes. Gifts, I'm in that reciprocity stage. I've healed my scars, and I'm in the bliss stage, and companions. Yeah, so I've been speaking about magic. I feel like we're in the magic part of our journey. Can't speak for others, but I feel like I am. So there was a time when magic was an important element in our lives. Magic surrounds us, flowing through all things. Magic has always existed and is entirely natural. Bring the magic of your ancestors, your forebears, back into your life. So Merlin wishes to teach you that the mightiest tools wielded by a sorcerer or a priestess. Now that's another part of myself that's retained. I know that I'm an alchemist, so a magician. I can weave energy, alchemize dark into light. Know that, I've done it many times. Also high priestess of the rose path. Hence why Mary Magdalene comes through to me. I work with all things rose. Yeah, those dormant aspects of myself has woken up because I've activated my DNA strands. You know, so those gifts, that wisdom, it's been hidden inside of me, but the activation of me and my dark night of the soul and the wisdom, you know, it's retained, has, yeah, fully opened me up to all the dormant aspects of myself. So Merlin wishes to teach you that the mightiest tools wielded by a sorcerer or a priestess are words. Words can destroy people or build them up. Now I've spoken this out before in another reading. Yeah, words can hurt or words can heal. Words are spell casting, you know, and a magician knows that. So they know that to wield these words, you know, be very, very careful also, you know, because what you put out comes back to you. Spellcast, we're spell casting, and when you're aware of that, when you have that wisdom, so what you think, you create. What you speak, you also create. Yeah, so you can create karma for yourself, you know, because what you give out, it can come back. So yeah, that wisdom, you find more and more wisdom on this journey. So Merlin wishes to teach you words can destroy people or build them up. Recognise this, and from now on, use your words as tools of love and light. Yeah. Merlin wishes to teach you that dragons will bring magic into your life and enhance the magical power you carry within you. Yeah. And then just below that, I've got mirror. And that's what woke me up all together, you know, my mirror soul. So I'm a twin flame. Yeah, my twin flame woke me up to this magic inside of me, and I have her. And I'm really, really grateful for that now, you know. And I never thought I'd get to this point of my journey where I would say I'm very, very grateful for all the pain and confusion and all of that I had to go through to reach where I've reached today. But I am so, so grateful. Because without that mirror, you know, being held up for me, I wouldn't understand where these thoughts was coming from. I wouldn't understand my intuition. I wouldn't have got all this wisdom back. I wouldn't have return my dormant aspects back to me. I won't be receiving gifts at this part of my journey. I won't be meeting these companions, these soul tribes. I won't have healed my scars. I won't be in the bliss stage. I wouldn't have opened up to Merlin, you know, and my magic that he's opened me up to. So, what else was we? Oh, it's King Arthur. So King Arthur came out for a reason, you see. So I'm using my intuition. So although I don't quite understand why King Arthur came out yet, I'm using my intuition and they're telling me to read why he came out. So yeah, that's become stronger inside me, you know. So people who have influenced our history and performed great deeds live on in our hearts and our legends. There is no evidence that King Arthur existed in reality, but that is not important as he lives within us. The legends of heroes plant a seed in our hearts, a seed of courage, freedom and justice. Only you can decide if this seed will germinate. Decide now to believe in these heroes and they will awaken within you, within your heart. Yeah, so when I was getting these thoughts, all this information was returning to me, you know, daily for 8 years. I had a choice, and I've got a card here, and it's saying decision on it. I'm just going to, so I've just placed my cards down like that, and I kept looking at this earlier and thinking, is that going to come out? But yeah, you've got a decision. They're saying you have a decision to make. When you start hearing these thoughts, and you start hearing these magicians coming through to you, so Merlin, Ascended Masters, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, you start at angels, you've got a decision, you know, whether you want to believe in that or not. Well, I made the decision a long time ago that, well, it was very, very loud, but I also had to make a decision to choose this path, you know, against everybody. So decision card. Yeah, that was laid down like that, and it was staring at me, and I thought, I'm going to be reading that card. Yeah, so return my magic, you know, my clairs, my clairaudience, my clairsentience. I've returned that. Whoop, by waking up my dormant aspects of myself. So these already lived inside of me. The magic was already inside of me, but I had to make a decision to fully devote myself to this path, you know, because I've got free will. That's what they're saying, you've got free will. But I had to make a decision to go up against everybody who told me that, no, you know, you can't be found in these gifts. No, we don't want you to change. We want you to stay exactly as you are. No, I made a decision that these thoughts, these magicians, Merlin, all of that, like I've just been speaking about Merlin, you know. Yeah, I was like, eh? Is that Merlin? Like, yeah, it was hard for me, you know, to understand where these thoughts was coming from, but the sounds that was leaving me and the numbers and all of that was so strong. So, yeah, I made a decision to stay on this path against all obstacles, you know. And Merlin's on the floor over there. But, yeah, I wondered why. King Arthur was coming out, but there's always reasons, you know. So, yeah, decide now to believe in these heroes and they will awaken within you, within your heart. So, this song that I've had coming through, and I also did a reading on it, that's it's all aligning now, you know. So, a real human being and a real hero. Yeah. So that's that song that was coming through, and I was just sat here and I was like, what's that about? It's all aligning. So yeah, you know what? We are human, but we are heroes also. We hold this magic inside of us. Just like these heroes that have gone before us, Merlin, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Isis, Hathor, oh, many, you know, have gone before us, walked this path before us, had to have their death and their rebirth, had to recover their dormant aspects inside them, had to go through many spiritual initiations, also human, you know, initiations. So like people projecting their judgments onto you, they're making a decision, you know, not to believe in magic and not to believe that there can be anything other than what they are, human. But no, we're human and we're divine. So that song coming through, real human being and the real hero. King Arthur, Merlin, human, but heroes too. It's all aligning now, you know. So yeah, King Arthur was accompanied by an old and enormous fire dragon, and together they protected the land and its people. He ruled with his heart, in harmony with the Great Mother. His mission was love. Become a hero or heroine in your own life. You are the dragon rider the world needs. Our world values, including courage, friendship, loyalty, tolerance, love, devotion, enthusiasm, are returning within you. It is so good that you are here. Wow. Yeah. Merlin, hero. Human and a hero. King Arthur, human and a hero. That is what we are. Real human being and a real hero. Bloody love it. See, like my path? Yeah, this card here. I saw that card earlier. Dragon Rider. Yeah. Become your own Dragon Rider. Forge your own path. A path that's never been done before. That's how you make a change. Going to leave it there because that just all. I wondered why I was just sat here and I was contemplating and I was speaking to my you know, my light work friends, and I had to go with my intuition, you know, and come on and do a reading, and I wasn't going to today, but never say never, not on this path. Yeah, we're all human and we're heroes. But, you know, it's up to you, the same. Make that decision. What path? What legacy? What legacy do you want to leave? Love it. Okay, that's 40 minutes. I know these are long, but the right people will find them and align to it. So, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.